friends, welcome back to the channel. We have a layout process video today. Do you see that white background? We are going to use, this is a video in collaboration between Simple Stories and Spellbinders. So I'll be using the Simple Vintage Lavender Fields collection and the coordinating Simple Vintage Lavender Fields Hexagons dies. So these are the two pieces that I'm going to die cut over and over and over using the same color paper until I have enough hexagons to cover the entire white surface that you saw before from on my layout. This was a way for me to focus on creating a very textured hexagon shape, repeating pattern type of background on my page. And I cut a lot of, you don't see a lot of the die cutting. It took, I would say, I don't really remember. I created this layout about 3 weeks ago, but it was fun. I am using the Spellbinders Scout die cutting machine. It is small. I don't have to, super easy to use. And yeah, again, it took a few minutes, but it wasn't really a big deal. And the fact that the other thing is the paper that I used is one of the basics from the Simple Stories collection that match the collection. So the pattern doesn't look, once again, it doesn't look busy. And because it is, the hexagons are absolutely perfect. There is no using my hands for anything. They lined up perfectly on the page. I found that for me, the easy way to do it was to add the adhesive directly on the big piece. I did use a piece of simple, smooth white cardstock to adhere my pieces to the background. That way, once again, I could make sure that all the hexagons were aligned without having to adhere them directly to the border piece that I was going to use. I did have to trim this piece a little bit because you'll see the last hexagon I'm going to adhere. There was, I believe, between 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch gap there. So I aligned it. And once again, all of the double-sided tape was adhered directly on the background. And then it was easy to line up those pieces. I did make sure as I was adhering them that the direction of the pattern was the same on all of the pieces. So the background did not look weird. You can still appreciate, once I start adding the photo, the embellishments, the titles, you'll see that the page starts getting busier, but I still left a lot of white space so you could appreciate the work of on the background. I you could if you know what design you are going with, if you know the size of your photo or what elements you're going to use, you could work on your layout in advance and know what parts of the layout or the background are going to be fully covered. Like you'll notice, I used a full sheet of 6x8 pattern paper that covers most of the background on the right. So I could have avoided adding hexagons there. That would have cut my time, by a few minutes. And then you can save some paper as well. So instead of me having to use a sheet and a half of this paper, I could have, maybe one would have been enough. So things to keep in mind, I had no idea what I was going to do at this point. So I wanted to have the entire background covered and then make decisions on the go as I was trying things and see what worked for me. So We're almost done here. I did, after this step was done, I did run this piece through my sewing machine and got a white border. Okay, so as I said, you can really appreciate the background. So I am now adhering this to the purple or lilac piece of paper. This is also one of the basics from the collection, and then both pieces will be adhered to my background. My recommendation, if you really need and love being precise, use a ruler. I did it, I just looked at it. Now, 6 by 8 pad for this collection. The patterns are beautiful, and I had to use this paper with the window. So I debated for a few seconds if I could do what I thought I wanted to do and if it was going to be okay. The other thing is, do I really want to cover and use one of these almost full sheets to cover so much of the pattern? The answer was yes, absolutely. So I grabbed my fussy cutting scissors. I went around um the window, and then I also did this process where I fussy cut around some of the shapes that are technically in front of the window. So you'll see what I'll do with the photo. I also thought that maybe I could have printed the photo a little bit smaller to see more of the window, but no, it looked really good. So you have my photo. It's like I'm standing there right in front of the window with, I don't know, the kitchen counter or something right in front of me. So love that. So what I'll do is I have that cluster that came immediately from the 6 by 8 paper. I added one piece on the bottom right, and now I'm building two main clusters. One will go on the top right border or corner of that window, and then the other one will be on the bottom left. I'm going to use one of the pockets from the bits and pieces, and I am going to have two cards go inside those pockets. The anything is I think anything is possible. Yeah, that is one of the pieces from one of the ephemera packs, and I just added foam adhesive. I think you'll see me do that at some point, but here I am just deciding, just final details on top there. I love the idea of seeing multiple layers and details. The Simple Stories Vintage Collection make it super easy to create the illusion of lots of layering, lots of dimension with just the patterns that are printed on the papers and the embellishments. So, adding my title, and then I think I already have my pocket adhered to the left. I should be getting ready to write my journaling. Oh, I added the dreamer piece up there. Almost done with my journaling. The journaling will go inside that pocket on the left, and then I will finish the layout with a couple of trios of enamel dots, I believe. Let's see when we get there. Bringing those enamel dots. The decorative brats would have also looked really cute. But I did go with the enamel dots. Please let me know if you have any questions. I hope this video inspires you to grab not only the Simple Vintage Lavender Fields collection, but also all of the coordinating dies from the collaboration with Spellbinders that go with it. I had so much fun working with the hexagons, and thank you so much. I will see you next time, friends.